For our 75th anniversary, it's great to discover new stories. When we were doing the 50th anniversary, there was no internet. For a long time, we always considered Charlie Scott as the first African-American driver to run in NASCAR. Even for NASCAR's 50th anniversary, we did a feature about the first African-American drivers, and Charlie was the person. It's really kind of hard to trace some of that early history of African-American drivers in NASCAR, because in the first decade or so, there would be a lot of drivers that would just show up for one race. There was no check mark on the entry blank of your race or ethnicity or anything like that. And so we always considered Charlie Scott as the first African-American driver to run in NASCAR. He came to Daytona in 1956 and drove for one of the most powerful teams in NASCAR, the Carl Kiekhaefer team. But the thing that gave us the clue that Charlie was the first was we had a picture of him shaking hands with Wendell Scott. That was an iconic photo that was pretty widely circulated, and so for years we gave Charlie Scott the recognition as the first African-American driver. But in 2008, a journalist, Becca Gladden, was doing some research, and she's a motorsports writer. She happened upon an article in the San Mateo newspaper that mentioned the driver Elias Bowie. When we went to the results of that race, we found his name. We saw that he was driving a '53 Cadillac. And so through that research that Becca did, we moved the date back of the first African-American driver in NASCAR, and now we credit Elias Bowie as being the first African-American driver. The story's still developing, and from what we know, he ran an auto business and also a towing business and just was known as a businessman there in San Mateo. But individual stories like this are what makes our sport special. For historians, there's nothing better. We rewrite the history book all the time.